Our next storyteller. When Jennie's Togolese counterparts propose an unusual budget for her school construction project, she assumes the worst. Please welcome Jennie Moylan with her story, and excuse my French, Le Imprévu, or the unforeseen. Jennie.
So I showed up for my first day of work as a Peace Corps volunteer in Togo, West Africa. And I was meeting the school director of the town of Agbabe. He was going to help me with some projects. And I was pretty sure that I was in the right place, because I was in the town of Agbabe and I had found a large building, but I wasn't absolutely sure that it was a school. It was built out of local materials, so it had like posts that came up to a Y, and then across those were laid like long poles that went up and made the roof, and then the whole thing was thatched with this long elephant grass. But then there was the school director, so yes, I was in the right place. And we duck inside the school, and inside the floor was bare swept earth, and there were long wooden teak benches that were polished, shiny by the sitting and squiggling of all the little bottoms in their khaki trousers. So it was a school. It was a school because students went and learned, and it was a school because teachers went and taught. So the school director and I, we did our work together, and I didn't see him again for a long time. So about a month before I finished my service, he approached me to suggest that we build a school together. Not that we build a school together, I am in no way qualified to build a school, but to suggest that we fill in a grant application. I think I'm up for that. So as we sit down to the low wooden table with sweat running in our eyes, there are 4 of us that are going to fill in this application. There are 3 adult men, mid-career professionals with educations and positions of earned respect in their community, and 1 23-year-old folklore major. So we sit down, and the premise of this U.S. Embassy self-help grant is that the U.S. Embassy is going to contribute half, and the town of Agbabe is going to contribute half. So the budget goes like this: Agbabe, sand, water, labor; U.S. Embassy, rebar, cement, tin for the roof, imprévu, 10%. And I'm like, l'imprévu? What is this? And I get a literal translation. That's the unforeseen. And I'm already resisting, right? Because I have a stereotype that all these projects are going to include some sort of skim or graft. And the school director from Agbabe comes in like really formal. He's like, please, I beg you, the United States, you are so strong and so generous, and I ask that you consider the people of Agbabe and include this imprévu in the budget. And I'm already kicking into high gear. It's a market culture. I've been negotiating the market for 2 years, and I'm getting kind of fired up, or maybe like really fired up, and I'm talking like market style. No, you're like, that's not how that works. And I'm ready to storm off and like come back to get my price. Like, I just don't want anybody to take advantage of me. And my host country counterpart, my homologue, Monsieur Aglamavi, is trying to talk sense. And he's like, Dadavi Jennie. And it's just like from the first thing he says, Dadavi Jennie. That's my name, right? Dadavi means like miss or like young woman of reproductive age but with no children. He's saying it like that, but what I'm hearing is, little lady. And I am good and tired of Agbomavi calling me little lady. I am tired of being introduced at every single thing we do. Oh, here's Sidavi Jennie doing this, and here's Sidavi Jennie doing that. And I'm sure that he's really tired of me too. He's tired of having like this gatekeeper mascot along on all of his projects. So he's trying to talk sense, and he's like, look, the things that we've done before, that was small time. The latrines and public health projects and training sessions, even the well, that was small time. This is a school. We cannot louse this up. We've had like 2 years of like getting work done, not because we were complimentary. And I'm not hearing it from him. And I have this stereotype in my mind. It's painful to have thoughts in your mind that you won't say to your friends because it will hurt them, right? But it's like a scorpion. It wants to sting and sting, and it's like, but I'm looking at my friends' faces and I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm looking at my friend Renee Agbekponu. I eat at his house like 3 nights a week. And when I eat there, his wife mounds lapat on the plate. And she breaks off pieces in case the porridge is too hot for my tender fingers. And she mock insults me if I don't eat enough. And I'm looking at Renee, and he's like, hey, settle down. You're getting kind of red. Do you need a glass of water? It's okay, we don't have to do it. Agbomavi's right, and we should, but you know, if you're gonna get this upset, let's not do it. But you know, think of the children and let's not blow it. But you know, if you really have to, we'll take that out. And so we did. Like, I kind of hid behind what I thought I had learned in my training, and we lined it out, and we redid the sums. And it was my privilege to turn that grant application in at the U.S. Embassy later that week. I know now a better word for l'imprévu, and it's risk management. It's a whole field of business. I work now at UC Davis Study Abroad, sending students out, and every single one of those budgets attempts to manage risk in one way or another. It would be irresponsible not to. The imprévu is with me every day. So the school got built after my close of service, so I don't actually know if they ran out of money, or if something about the school is incomplete or incorrect, or if they had to return to the embassy for more funding. But I can tell you about the first day of construction. So the big flatbed truck from the US Embassy pulled up, and I was counting the bars of rebar as they came off the truck. And the school teacher's house had been turned into a storage shed for the sacks of cement. And women were bringing headloads of sand up out of the creek bed and dumping them in a pile. And we were mixing cement. So when you mix cement, right, you need a ratio of sand and water to the cement so that the chemical bonds will form and the cement will be strong. And the guys have like loaded up the wheelbarrow that we're using as a measure. They've loaded up like this high, like not one more shovel will fit in that wheel. That is a good-looking wheelbarrow by Togolese standard. That's how they do it. Because when you have enough, you have more than enough. But I was thinking about the chemical bonds. And I didn't know what I think my collaborators knew. They knew about want. They knew about granaries that run empty before the next harvest. And they knew about school fees that went unpaid because they needed to buy medicine instead, and they knew how those thatched roofs could burn. So, thinking that I'm demonstrating, I took a shovel and I went up to the wheelbarrow and I knocked out about half of that load. And for good measure, I took the handle of the shovel and I drug it across the rails of the wheelbarrow so that it was perfectly smooth and even and standard. And they looked at me aghast. And the school teacher from Agbave came up, like trying to explain, trying to make peace, and he just says, "Oh, Dadavi Jennie." So I got to visit that school 10 years later, and it is bright and white and gleaming as a beacon. And it has a great big emblem on it, celebrating the collaboration between the people of Togo and the people of the United States. That we would collaborate, we knew from the beginning, from the day that I walked up to that school in Agbave. And that there would be risk, I think we also knew. But what I didn't know was that although I don't wear khaki trousers, and my bottom is not that small, and I never sat on those long wooden benches in the schoolhouse in Agbave, it was at that school that I found some of my best teachers. They taught me through food and friendship and kindness and so much patience. And I am entirely grateful.